guys, Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's Workshop. I'm glad you dropped in today. I do my own maintenance on 95% of all the gear that I have here at the camp, and that includes mobile equipment. By that I mean equipment that I actually get on and ride and travel. And that mobile equipment has brakes. Good thing too. But for example, on my Massey Ferguson GC 2300 awesome tractor, it has brakes, but it's a hydrostatic transmission, so you don't often use the brake. The brake is more or less like a park brake, and it's not a hydraulic brake either. It's a mechanical friction brake. Same as on the estate car and the Husqvarna lawn tractor, those are mechanical friction brakes. But on my ATV, on my Can Am ATV, there's a hydraulic brake system on that, front and rear. And you know, the Can Am, it's getting to be pretty near 14 years old now. And I often wonder, should I change the brake fluid in it? Or, is it getting bad? It's 14 years old, maybe it should be changed. The brakes still work good and all, but, I kind of have that concern. And I never really thought about it until the other day I got an email from a company called Tesmen. T-E-S-M-E-N. I've done a review on Tesmen voltage tester before, and I found it to be very good, very helpful around the shop for quick testing of voltages. Anyway, Tesmen contacted me and they said we have a brake fluid tester, brake fluid liquid tester, and they wanted to know if I would do a review on it for them. So I said, yeah, I only have the ATV that I work on, but like I was saying, the brake fluid in there is going on 15 years old. I wonder if it's good or bad. So I said, yeah, send me your tester. I'd like to test the brake fluid in my ATV. And while I'm doing that, I can do a little review on this tester. So let's open it up and see what it is. So this is the Tesmen TBF 200 brake fluid tester. It's got auto power off, which is good, I guess, saves the battery. It's got a data hold, so you can check your reading and then it'll hold it there so you can refer to it later. It's good for testing DOT3, DOT4, and DOT 5.1 specs of brake fluid. And it's got a long tube probe. That might be important, I guess. And it's made in China, just, in case you keep score. So when we open it up, we get a nice manual here. And I've read through the manual a little bit. And lots of times when you buy equipment from China, the Chinglish in them is not the best. In the manuals, it's not the best. But I have to say, this manual seems to be good. The sentences, most of the sentences make sense. Here's the tester, comes in a nice little carrying case. And there's a zipper on it here, if I can find it. There it is. So we open that up, and there's the tester. Now I've tested some Tesmen gear before, well, one piece before. It was a voltage tester. It was much the same shape as this for the voltage tester. A little pocket clip here if you want to put it in your pocket. You'd have to have a pretty deep pocket there. I guess you could fold it up like that. Kind of look like a nerd walking around with a brake fluid tester in your pocket, but if you wanted to, you could. So yeah, the actual body shape here is the same as before, but this is the long nose probe they're talking about, and at the end of it there's just two probes, two prongs sticking out the end. You can see that? Hold it steady enough for you. And when I read through the manual, what it does is it's testing for moisture in the brake fluid. So I guess what it does is it passes a current between these two probes, and based on the amount of moisture, more current or less current will flow, and that translates into good or bad readings that'll show up on the display here. So it also comes with two AAA batteries. So let's open this up and we'll insert the batteries. And then standard looking on-off button here. We press that. It beeps, it lights up, and the display, it says DOT3 0.0%. So if I push the S button, it goes to DOT4. If I push it again, it goes to DOT 5.1, and then back to DOT3. So, and then you just insert this tip into the brake fluid, and it'll give you a reading here whether it's good or bad. So the detection range is from 0 to 4% moisture, with an error range of 0.3%. Okay, so here's where it says Dip the metal part of the detection head into the tested liquid for 3 seconds until the display is stable. Observe the state and read the numerical value. So 0 to 2% is good, 2 to 3% is maybe we should change it pretty soon, and 3% or higher is it's too late, buddy. I'm surprised you stopped long enough to even check it. So I have some brake fluid here. In this brake fluid, it's CarQuest brand brake fluid. It's DOT3. I had this for a long time. I don't know when I bought it, quite a while ago, but I've stored it in the bike shed next to the shop here where it's not heated. So the temperature in there goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and I expect that there's probably condensation in this. Now before I would use this brake fluid, I'd like to know if it's good, right? So if I'm going to check the brakes on my ATV, and if they need brake fluid, or if I want to change the brake fluid, do I use this or do I go get a new can? And brake fluid, just like everything else, is not cheap these days. So I wanted to know if this is good or bad. So I could just stick my probe in there, I suppose, but I have a little container here. I'm just going to pour a little fluid into this, just like that. That should be enough for my test. So now I'm turned on, and this is DOT3, so I set up for here for DOT3. So it says stick the probe in there for 3 seconds and see what happens. So let's just do that. 1, 2. See that? Acted pretty good. And if you can see there, the screen is green, which means my brake fluid is good. It says 1%. So 1% is certainly within the allowable limits. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to do a test just to see how accurate this is. So just 1 second to get set up for that test. We'll be right back. So I never measured how much brake fluid I put in that, but I have a syringe here and some water. So I'm just going to draw a little water into the syringe. And now, like I say, I don't know how much is there, but I'm just going to put a couple of drops in there. Look at that. That's about 5 drops. Okay, we'll set that right there for now. And then we'll just, you know, shake that around a little bit. I'm curious to see what that will do, if anything. So let's try it. We turn on our detector. It's DOT3. .4%. So, you know, it's certainly detecting the water that I put in there. So let's put in a couple more. There's another, I don't know, half a dozen drops. And then we'll mix that up. This is quite the scientific test, eh? Okay, let's try it again. We're on DOT3. .6%. So let's add a little bit more water. Ooh, baby, there's a lot of water in there now. You could drink this now, so much water in it. DOT3, I'm expecting this to be red. And it is red. It says 3.4%. Okay, so that's over 3%, so it says it's no good. So now let's add a little bit of fluid to this. I'm trying to get it in the yellow range, right? So if we add a little bit more brake fluid, stir this up. Okay, let's see what we have here now. DOT3. Now that's saying 2.6%. I would have thought it'd been yellow. Isn't that what it says in the book, that it's supposed to go to yellow? What's up with that now? Let me just review this. It says a value of 2 to 3%, the backlight is yellow. Yeah, well, my backlight didn't go yellow, it stayed green. Yep, see that? Pretty green if you ask me. But anyhow, it's good to know that my brake fluid is good. If I need to use this brake fluid, I can. What I'd like to do now is go out and just test the fluid that's in the bike, but in order to do that I have to take the cover off the brake fluid reservoir. I don't want to do that just now, but I know that if I do that test with this and it shows me that it's bad, I have some good brake fluid here that I can put in at least. So So there you have it. If you think you might like to have one of these brake fluid testers in your kit, the TBF 200 by Tesmen, there's an Amazon affiliate link down below, and if you use that I can get a little kickback for referring you. And if you prefer just to order it direct from Tesmen, also down below there will be a discount code where you can purchase this direct from Tesmen at a discount. So I think it'd be a worthwhile tool. I'm not going to use this every day, that's for sure, but it's going to be nice to have it around if I ever need to test my brake fluid for whatever the reason might be, just to be safe if nothing else, eh? Safe and secure. Peace of mind, you know, that's valuable. Anyways folks, thanks a lot for watching. Sure hope you enjoyed the video, and please thumbs up me, and we'll talk to you soon.